computer. And right, so good morning, Hannah Gibson. It's absolute pleasure to have you on my Business Voices. I'm going to introduce you to everybody so they know who you are. And the idea of this Business Voices is for you to really give us a good overview of how your career has developed, because it's fascinating. And the end of this is, of course, what your teacher said about you at school. And we had a little chat about this earlier, which I thought was quite funny what you just said. But, you know, which is quite interesting, really, that we sometimes can't remember what our teacher said about us, but we know what we were like as individuals. And there must have been, you know, a few comments that were made. But the whole reason for this is I'm very interested in lifespan development in psychology, and to see if people as adults are a reflection of who their teachers said they were as a child. And how that's actually changed as they've gone along. So, so I'm going to introduce Hannah Gibson to everybody. It's hannah-gibson.co.uk if you want to have a look at her website. Hannah is a copywriter. So what she actually does is she works with web designers or people that are just about to set off on their journey to make a website. And the one thing that stuck out with me when Hannah helped Aspire for Business Academy with their website was this: you have to say what you are. So if you're an estate agent selling houses in Poole, you say, we sell houses in Poole. Because otherwise, if you go onto a website and people go, they're scrolling all down and going, what do? You know, which we all do on a number of occasions. It's that. If you are a recruitment consultant, which is the other the idea that you gave to us, we recruit engineers in Hampshire. You know, you need to say what you do. So I'm really impressed with everything you do. And so we'll tell everybody at the end how they can actually get in touch with you. And I'd like you to tell us all about your career, Hannah. And fascinatingly, which has gone from a PhD in cellular and molecular biology to being where you are now. And we just need to know all about you. So I'm going to hand over the stick to you. There you go. And you can tell us all about your career, which is absolutely fascinating. Okay, over to you.
It's really interesting what you've just been saying there, because it started to click inside my head that I have actually gone full circle, because yes, I did spend quite a lot of years in science, but before that, so my parents are artists and my sister is an artist, so I came from a very creative family.
Yes.
Slightly probably the rebellious one in the family, which I think is why I went into science.
Yes.
So going back, I grew up in the countryside, in the absolute middle of nowhere, in a converted farmhouse.
Oh, wow.
My parents are ceramic artists, so they left the city and where they grew up and moved to Weardale in the middle of nowhere and set up a pottery before I was born. And so I grew up in a farming community, but as pot of parents.
Yes.
And my sister is 7 years older than me, and she went to art school in London, and she still lives in London. And so when I was a teenager, I did want to do a marketing and advertising degree. I was never going to get the grades to do marketing and advertising, because it's quite a high, you need quite high grades. And so I did biology, and that's how I ended up doing the PhD in biology.
Wow, that's amazing. You're so clever to do that, honestly. I actually was looking at my daughter's A-level stuff in biology, and it was right over my head. Although I taught health for 10 years, you know, it's a totally different way of looking at things, isn't it, than, you know, than the art side. Everything has a process. You know, there is always an answer.
Yeah, yes and no, because when you do so doing a bachelor's degree in biology, yes, I would say that's true, but when you go into the PhD side, it's all problem solving, inventing. That's what PhD students are, inventors.
Yeah.
So I spent 4 years in a lab cooking things and inventing things and problem solving. And I did a lot of writing as well, but it's a different type of writing, yeah, but research. And I really loved it. I was such a passionate scientist. It was my absolute life, and I went to America presenting work. I presented in this country.
Yeah.
There's a big and cancer research conference in Washington DC. I presented work at.
Wow, it's amazing.
It was like a really I loved that part of my life. And like, I'm still a scientist and I do still think in scientific ways. But when I got pregnant with my first child, who's now 11, the passion, I lost the passion for science because I had my own baby, my own baby. And so then I went back to work part-time, and then I fell pregnant again with Jacob, who's now he's 7 on Thursday, actually.
Just before Christmas.
So at that point, that was when I started looking elsewhere for things, because it wasn't the lifestyle, the science lifestyle. It is hard for women in science to have a family. I mean, some people do it very successfully, but I knew I was going to struggle. And also we lived half an hour in rush hour traffic away from work, and so it was commute as well. And so I started looking for other areas of interest. And the reason I got into web design was because, so I had all these ideas, and going back to my dad is very entrepreneurial. As an artist and having his own business, I was involved in a lot of the marketing of that business at a very age. Like pricing, I used to help my mum and dad price the work, used to go to the shops and watch my dad sell things. So it was in us to think, right, how can I make my own business? That wasn't an unusual thing to me. That was what my family had done all the time, and I think my family do. And so I was thinking about different businesses, and then I started building websites, and loads of web designers, this is the way they fall into it as well. Building websites for different people, and then I built my dad's website, and my mom helped my mom with her website.
And I think actually you did something pretty amazing with Wix, didn't you?
Yeah, so it was funny because so we're going back to 2015, I think. At that time, Wix were offering a webmaster training course, a training program for people who were building Wix websites to become certified Wix professionals. And I saw that and thought, right, so it was called Wix Webmaster, the program. I decided to buy the domain for Wix Webmaster and build a one-page website with all of the copy was focused around this keyword, Wix Webmaster. When it published, and I started getting leads straight away, because at that time there wasn't as many. There is a lot of Wix partners, they're called now, and like certified Wix designers, but at that time there really wasn't. And Wix actually picked up on the fact that I'd done that.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
And they contacted me and got me to become an ambassador for Wix. And they actually came over from New York to
wow, that's incredible.
This bit of the story. Yeah, so I had 2 people from Wix, like community outreach, came over, and I live just next to Lumley Castle. I've never been in Lumley Castle. It's a really, really nice private hotel. It's just a mile away from here. I could probably see it out the window if I tried. They stayed there and took me out for a meal on the night.
How nice. Yeah.
So that was quite a fun time, actually. It was
Mm-hmm.
really fun time. And yeah, I think it was because I'd seen the potential for this keyword. That, I mean, I've changed direction a lot since then.
Yeah.
I don't do web design, build websites at all. That was like how I got into the copywriting side.
Yes. Yeah.
So
they loved it. You did hundreds of their websites for them. Then all of a sudden you decided that you wanted to be more involved with writing the words. So how did that come about then, Hannah? Because you're very, very good at writing copy for websites. You were very good at that. So how did that actually come about?
So I was always really good at getting leads. So I was very good at local SEO, and I was getting I was doing a little bit of networking, not a lot of networking, but a bit of networking, and getting referrals. So I always had a lot of customers, but I started to really get overwhelmed, and I was doing everything myself. So I was doing the SEO for the build, I was building the website, I was managing clients, I was writing the content. I found when I got into the web design when I started the web design business, I found this problem that all web designers face, which I now solve, is that clients just don't, small business owners really struggle to write their own website content. They procrastinate about it, they don't know what to do, they send it in bits and pieces, and they need a lot more direction than they normally get. It's really hard for them. And so my solution was, well, I'm going to write it for them, which was fine, but then that made me get very overwhelmed with everything that I was doing. So I really fell out of love with that business, probably I think like 2017, 2018. I actually tried some other business things. I started doing Amazon stuff with Amazon and things. And then a copywriting course popped up in my news feed, and I thought, do you know, that sounds like something I want to do. I'd already been writing content. I'd already been writing content for a long time for my clients.
Just to give it some structure, hey?
Yeah. And so when I did that course, it was just a snowball effect. I just started niching and niching and niching and niching and niching. And the more I niched my services, the more clients I got, but the easier my business was, because I was only doing one thing. Or a couple
now, do you know, I'm so glad you said that, because I talk to people about this as part of my business mentoring. So and I say to them, you know, would you like to write a course? And they go, yeah, I want to write a course on marketing. And I go, marketing for, you know, the branding department, for the seasonal clothes that we sell, for the particular brand of jumper that we've got, you know, and it's actually bringing that right down, isn't it? And people say, oh, I don't do that just in case I don't get all my clients. But if you actually say, you know, I write website copy for the, you know, I think it's so much easier for them, because people go, oh, that's me, don't they? You know, and I think there's a lot to be said for actually niching, you know, your client persona.
It's really hard to do as a mindset perspective. And I often tell my clients now to just do it in small stages, do it as much as you can feel comfortable, because what you do is you start off, and like I said before, it's a snowball effect. So rather than jumping off a cliff and kind of niching so narrow, just take it in stages and process, and you get evidence, and then you build on that. So the more niche you are, the more inquiries and the more clients you get, and then you can use the things that they say to you in your copy again, and it gets tighter, and your message gets tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter, until the point where you know what you're doing, and you're like, yes, I've got it now.
Yeah, that's it. And I think that absolutely works, and when I've done that with clients and said, let's think of 4 particular areas that you can actually work in, and then they start to do that. And then, as you say, their business then will grow because people see themselves in it. It doesn't mean you can't work with other people, but it just means that, out in the marketplace, you are just saying what your key area is. So with what you're doing now, you obviously want the best outcomes for your clients. So writing copy for them enables them to do that. What you need to do is to understand where they are with it. And I know that you do a great hours call for £99, which is like the best £99 I think I've ever spent. I was really trying to get my head around the first page of a website that we were setting up. So tell us about how you go about this writing. What do you look at? What have you got this structure that you work to, Hannah? How does that work?
Yeah, so when I write for another business, the main thing we do is we have a call, an hour Zoom call, and rather than me giving my clients a questionnaire for them to just fill out, which, to be honest, they're going to, one, procrastinate about, two, it's hard to fill out a form and you don't really maybe understand the questions.
Yes.
So I don't do that. I go through my questions over a Zoom call, and there's 3 things that I'm looking for. I want to know who their target audience is. The
Yes.
more focused we can get, the better.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know what their goals are for the website, and I want to know what makes them unique, what really we're going to highlight in the content to really pull people in and show them they're the right person for them to work with.
Yes.
That's for when I write content for somebody else. During the call, I really just meet people exactly where they're at and help them to the next stage, I think.
Yes. Yes.
So I think one of the things that I really enjoy doing is having like chats with, so my focus is website copy, but I speak to lots of different types of businesses all the time, so I'm quite good at understanding meeting people where they're at and just helping them move to that next stage.
Yes. Yeah.
Wherever that is, because it can be quite difficult. Some of these things can be quite difficult.
Yeah, and I also think that when you talk to people about their business, they think that because you aren't in their business, you probably don't understand it. But like you, I've spent 30 odd years in business, and I've got, and part of that was recruitment and training. So I've got a really good idea what most industries do. And I've actually broken it down now into, service, capital, medical, so I've actually got my industries. It's like personas, isn't it? And then you start narrowing that down as to what companies actually do inside those businesses. So when people come to you and they ask you to, mostly I think they're small business owners, or are they people that want to rewrite their copy?
Mostly small business owners. I do write copy for larger, but just medium, not huge companies.
Yeah.
I prefer the smaller ones because it's the passion people have. It's just lovely to listen to the passion that people have, and I always find it really easy to find somebody's unique qualities.
Yes.
They don't necessarily realize that they've got, but because they're a small passionate business owner, you get a feel for that straight away.
So how can we help you? What sort of people are you actually looking for now? So are these small business owners, and how do you feel that you can help them at this point in time, especially at this dreadful year that we've all just had?
Yeah, so it's the main problem I think people have with the website is they've possibly cracked getting people to it, but then they lose them because SEO is one thing, getting people onto the website or paid advertising, but then you need to get hold of those visitors, the attention, and take them to your inbox or onto a call or whatever. You've got to take them on a journey through your website and either onto a call or into your inbox, whichever is right for you. I think that's where people probably lose out the most.
Yes.
So looking at your analytics or talking to your web designer about the analytics and seeing, oh yes, I'm getting all this traffic, but why am I not getting sales? Why is that not equal in sales? But it's because your copy's not drawing them people who've landed on the website to take action. So that's where
having a really good call to action on each of your pages then, or taking them to what we need to do next is this, you know, is it taking them through that sort of a journey?
Yeah, making things simple. Like you said, when you very first introduced this call, that it's about being very clear with your headline, and then the next step, and the next step, and the next step. And I think what I always suggest, and what I always tell people to do, is write their content in one document away from the website. Because what tends to happen is you're on your website and you're tinkering and you're changing bits here and you're changing bits there, and it becomes disconnected. And you're not speaking to your target audience anymore. You're thinking about the color of buttons or where text should go, and what you need to be doing is writing your content in one document away from the website. So you're just focusing on that reader. You're really focusing on that reader and thinking, adding only the bit of information that they need to get them to the next step, not just splurging everything onto the page that you think might help. It's got to be more of a structured approach.
So people need to say what they do absolutely clearly. I am an estate agent and I sell houses from 200,000 to £1 million in Poole, you know, that type of thing. Say exactly what you do, and then how you can help people. Because what I found is, and things that I read, because I read a lot of people's websites before I help them with mentoring, is it says what they do. It doesn't say how they can help people or what the next stage is, or you know, where they're going to come from next. So it's really important. I absolutely agree that they get that bit right. So so for you then, it's about clarifying the target market, isn't it, really, for your clients, making sure that they know who it is that they're marketing to, all their calls to action, and then taking it from there. So on this call, I'm just going to have to plug my computer in. Actually, I know people are going to be listening to this, but I think I'm going to lose you otherwise. So sort of my question to you is, you know, what were you like when you were young, Hannah? Were you a busy lady? Were you a quiet young lady? What were you like? Because I'm very interested in this whole how you get from A to B in your life, and you know, what actually happens. So what were you like when you were a child? What did your teacher say about you?
I think I was probably, I think I said this to you before, a quiet rebel. So I'm not the most confident. I'm pretty much I'm a quiet introvert, but I'm a bit of a rebel. I don't go with the grain. I go against the grain, but I do it in my own quiet little way. And I think I'm just the same now, really. I'm trying to be a little bit more vocal with my opinions, but training and becoming a copywriter has definitely helped with that, because I'm saying my ideas and thoughts all the time in my writing. But yeah, I just think I can't really remember what my teachers exactly said about it. But I think
mine's ingrained in my brain, honestly. It must be that bad. So funny.
They probably said something like, if she applied herself more, she could do better.
Yeah, but then look what you ended up doing, you know, with your PhD and everything, and traveling the world and doing that whole thing. Must have been fascinating, you know. And whoever said that you needed to focus a little bit more, needed to have a little bit of a rethink about that, I think, from there. So people can contact you at hannah-gibson.co.uk. And what would you like to happen when people contact you? First off, you want them to be with you for an hour. What are they looking for when they come to you?
Yeah, so it really depends on what they need. I mean, I can have a look at the website content as it is and review that and make suggestions, like when we worked together.
Yes, yes.
I think that's really a good introductory to make, but some people want me to just take the writing completely off their hands, and so whatever that person, however that person feels, I've tried to cover that in my services.
Yes.
So if the doubt in the website content and the thinking, oh, it's not that good, then just have a chat with me, follow us on social media, read my blog. So if you go to my website, you can read my blog as well, which there's some articles on there that might give you some good tips and things.
Good tips, yeah. So I think what we said was it's visitor to inquiry, isn't it? That's what you need on your website, is getting you from that person that lands on your website to being an inquiry, and then you can convert them when you know what it is that they want. So it's that down that road.
Yeah, like, and think about it as a real person landing on your website. What's going on in their mind? Where have they come from? What problems do they have? You can't expect people to jump to, your call to action has to be a soft call to action. It can't always be too much or too big a step. You've got to be always thinking about that person, where they've come from. Do they already know you? Are they just landing on your website for the first time without ever seeing you? Are they coming from social media? Are they coming from Google? So just be thinking about these things, that one person, and what you need to do to get them to the next step. Don't overwhelm them.
Yes.
Just a little bit at a time. That's a buyer's journey, just a little bit at a time.
Well, I know that you're also offering a 5 key point plan at the moment, aren't you? I've seen you advertising that, you know, your top tips and everything for your copywriting. You know, and we've, as we've said, you know, at Aspire, we've actually worked with you and found that just incredibly beneficial. You know, so I would say if anybody needs a copywriter or somebody to help them with the words on their website, is to speak to Hannah, because you really clarified for us what it was that we were getting out there. And I think the difficulty for us was, and this might help other people, is we have more than one client. So we have trainers that might want to put their trainers as e-learning. We've got companies that might want to use a Sprout to outsource their L&D area. And we've also got people that might want to buy training courses. So we've got like a 3-pronged approach. And you were great at sort of, you know, explaining how that would work. And the nice thing in the feedback for you would be that people say that our website is really easy to use, and you know, and that they can find what they want, and it's nice and clear and crisp. So so I can just thank you for that, Hannah, for getting us in the right place. So is there anything else you'd like to tell us today, or shall we close this book, put you up there, and so that people can see who you are and get to know you a little better, because we can't go out at the moment, can we, for like face-to-face networking, doing our LinkedIn local things that we love to do, which is why I've brought this online, is to help people to get to know people, what they're like in their, you know, in how their journey ended, without having to read the whole CV. So what's your message to people that might want to be looking for copy?
I just want to say thank you to you, really.
That's all right.
It's been lovely to be here, and yeah, it's been really nice to have a chat.
Yeah, thank you very much. And you know, you come recommended from me. We'll put all the details of how you can find Hannah in our chat in the comments. And just to say thank you very much, Hannah. I look forward to working with you again in the future, and happy to recommend you onwards.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
No problem at all.